What's going on, everybody? Today we are taking a look at something a little more unique than what I typically try out on the PS5. For one, it's wired. Secondly, it's geared more towards PC gamers. In fact, it even has PC in its name. That's right, we are taking a look at the DropX Sennheiser PC38X. Oh yeah, here it is, and while it is designed for the PC, it works just as easily on the PS5. The well-revered DropX Sennheiser PC38X has been getting rave reviews from all PC players. It's been out for quite a while now, but I decided to do a review on it anyway because I didn't see one that's specifically out for PS5 to review these on PS5. They did recently release the EPOS X PC38X, which is the exact same headset but with a slightly different aesthetic, and we'll get into why that is shortly. As you may know, we like to take the PS5's Tempest engine just to see how well a headset performs against PS5's built-in 3D audio engine, and we're gonna do that in this video as well. But first, a message from Skillshare, the sponsor of this video. Now, while I do enjoy making these informative videos about tech for you all, it does take time and a handful of skills to accomplish, and I'm constantly trying to improve the process, not only to save time and be more efficient, but to deliver the information to you as clearly and effectively as I can. I've recently had problems with trying to shorten the length of some of my videos, and that's when Skillshare pops in. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity. Invest in yourself and your personal growth. I decided to take the social media success course by Lily Singh in hopes to find the answers to my questions, finding a more effective and more efficient way to approach my videos. My key takeaway from this course was cut out the fat. Sit back and watch your video after editing it as a viewer and look for parts that you may think are boring, unnecessary, or feel out of place. You want to convey information or message to your viewers, and it will get muddled up if there's a lot of bloat in your video. This has been very helpful in teaching me to create more engaging videos and deliver a concise message. Do you have a specific skill you're trying to learn? Are you an entrepreneur or freelancer, a creative, or just someone looking to learn some new skills to bolster their tool belt? Skillshare is the perfect place to start. From photography, illustration, graphic design, freelancing, even courses on productivity, Skillshare's got it all. The best part about this whole ordeal is that you can try it out for free. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description down below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. And before we get started, feel free to drop by the like button. If you happen to enjoy the video at any point, feel free to mash drop on the subscribe button for more videos, and extreme drop by the noti bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you happen to decide that you like this headset at any point during the video, I've left a link in the description where you can go ahead and check it out. Let's get back to the review. Starting off with the box, we've got the PC38X box with some drop Sennheiser branding. Open it up, we got a dust bag with the headset itself, the PC38X in all its bumblebee yellow black glory. Opening up the box, we have a few more accessories, starting off with an extra set of fabric ear pads, as well as the audio and mic splitter cable, as well as the 3.5mm audio jack, which I just disrespectfully dropped on the table, and this is everything in the box. Starting off with the comfort, now this headset is known for a lot of things, but the comfort and fit is probably my favorite. And I know this is a headset, so the sound should probably be my favorite thing, but man, the comfort on this thing is unreal. I know this headset can look deceiving. When you look at it, there's not much to it, no bells and whistles. All you see is these pads right here. You see some pads on the headband. They look deceptively uncomfortable, but when you put them on, they are so comfortable. Sennheiser has been in the game for such a long time. They know exactly what they're doing here, regardless of what they look like they're doing. You get these oval ear cups right here. The ear cups are this nice fabric. They're very well cushioned. And as you know, I'm a big fan of fabric ear cups. I'm not a big fan of leather ear cups because that's how they seal the moisture in, and that's how your ears get hot. In this headset, your ears are never going to get hot, also because they're open back. So with the split fabric headband, we also don't get a lot of pressure in the center, which is probably what a lot of headsets get wrong, is they usually have the padding going from one side to the other, and eventually that causes a little bit of pressure on the top. I don't know what the science behind it is or the physics is, but the split padding usually tends to work a lot better. I don't know why more companies don't do that. One of the reasons why this looks so deceptively uncomfortable is also because it is a full plastic build, and the plastic may look cheap at a distance, but it also holds its own purpose, and that purpose is to keep these very lightweight. So when you wear them, you really don't feel like anything's on your head. It's so light. It's really that light. Now, speaking of cheap plasticky feel, moving on to the fit, don't let this plasticky build again. Don't let it deceive you, because once you hold these in your hand, you will realize just how well built they are and how sturdy they are. Now, Of course, you can only take it so far with a plasticky build, and while they may not be the most sturdy gaming headset on planet Earth, I promise you this plasticky build will hold its ground. Another great thing about the fit of this headset is that the ear cups, even though they don't look like they swivel, they actually do swivel horizontally. They also swivel vertically, which means you're just going to get such a great fit around your head. When I wear these, it almost feels like they're not there. The headband adjusts like a traditional headset. You have these notches here. They're pretty good at locking into place. They don't move once you have them adjusted to a certain spot. You can apply a little bit of pressure if you want to adjust them. And the beautiful thing about this headset is once you find the perfect fit, it's literally the perfect fit. This headset is probably the most pleasurable headset to wear for me because once I put them on, it almost feels like there's nothing there. I feel like I'm wearing air. If this thing was wireless, I would walk around with it, no problems at all, walk around wherever I wanted to. The one caveat though is that if you don't find the perfect fit, this thing is pretty uncomfortable for the first few hours when I tried it on. Also, it was a little bit of a break-in period, so you have to consider that the first few hours there will be a little bit of a break-in period with this headset. But when I had them on for the first few hours, even after the break-in period, because I didn't have the perfect fit, I would feel a little bit of pressure on my jaw from the bottom of the ear cup. It would also feel like maybe it was pulling my ear into an odd position or odd direction. But once you find that perfect fit, which you eventually will, this headset is extremely comfortable. Okay, moving on to the audio quality. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention this weird caveat with this headset. The PC38X is a wired headset, so it's pretty much analog. There aren't many features on it, but it has this volume control wheel that controls the volume going into the headset. One issue with this is that when you're playing on PS5, if you have the PS5 system on full volume, even if you scroll the volume wheel all the way back, it's not going to mute the volume. You're still going to hear a little bit coming through. I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's a fix for it in the works. I don't even know if there is a possibility to fix this. You can't really update this headset because it is wired, it's analog. I know it almost feels like an ancient way to control sound. Even when I'm using this scroll wheel, it feels kind of cheap, but it does the job. It has notches on it so you can tell where you're moving it, but the audio quality of this headset is truly impressive, even on PS5. Now, if you're playing with this on PC, bar none, one of the best headsets around. I can vouch for that. Anybody can vouch for that. But we're talking about the PS5, and on PS5 with 3D audio enabled, this headset performs incredibly. What really impressed me is just how clear this headset was. You can hear all the different sound effects in supreme clarity, and the mid-range and low-range reproduction, the frequency reproduction is really good. And that's very surprising because this is an open back headset, and usually open back headphones have trouble reproducing lower range frequencies just because you can't build up that resonance as you could in a closed back headset. But this headset pulls it off no problem. You can tell Drop modified the drivers or fine-tuned the drivers in order to produce those better, and that's good with Warzone on PS5 because Warzone on PS5 can get very tinny and harsh, but on this headset it definitely does not do that, and the directional audio on this is absolutely incredible. Not only that, but because it's open back and the soundstage is bigger, when I'm playing Warzone, I can hear things from a really long distance, even things that my teammates wouldn't hear. For example, when I was dead and I was team viewing one of my teammates or spectating one of my teammates, I could hear things at a distance, like a loadout dropping quite a few meters away. I already knew where the loadout was dropping, but I could see my teammate was still struggling to figure out where it was happening or what was going on, and I'm just like, dude, look over there. Get this head. So great soundstage performance in Warzone, great audio reproduction, high end, low end, mid-range, all of it. It covers everything. And because it covers these frequencies so well and it has good mid-range reproduction, like it almost feels like it's been boosted, you get sort of a good mix of immersive and directional audio. Now, I tried this headset with other single-player story-driven games like Ratchet & Clank, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ghost of Tsushima, and Returnal, and it just had great sound imaging in all of them. With 3D audio enabled, you can hear the crisp sound effects from all directions. In Ratchet & Clank, when you're looking at the cityscape around you, you see all these hovering cars and everything, and I can hear every specific hovering car from a distance, and it just feels so immersive. Now, this headset performs well with 3D audio disabled as well. If you want to use Dolby or Dolby DTS, Dolby True Surround, all of it sounds great on this headset, but I do prefer the 3D audio enabled. Now, while this headset works well with 3D audio, it sort of feels like there's a frequency range limiter when you're using 3D audio, so the volume doesn't get as loud as it does when you're using Dolby or Dolby DTS. So it's really your preference. If you feel like the volume's a little too low when you're using 3D audio, maybe try using Dolby or Dolby DTS. However, the volume for me was just fine on 3D audio. It was just something I noticed that the max volume on Dolby and the other settings is just louder than when you're using this with 3D audio. Again, I tried this with Spider-Man Miles Morales, and recently I've been doing the street walk test in Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is something I coined myself. It's not an official test. I just walk around the streets and I try to pinpoint different sound effects like the cars rumbling or people saying something to me or just having conversations and I can hear them and what direction they're coming from. And again, with this headset, because of the imaging, the open back style of this headset, the sound stage is so wide. You can hear things from specific directions and you have a really good idea of what distance they're at from you. Whenever I do this test with closed back gaming headphones, the sound stage definitely feels a lot more closed off. When you hear things happening around you, you normally can't tell how far it is. You can sort of get an idea based on the volume, but you can't really tell very well what the distance is. Feeling of immersion and the experience is just so much different when you're using an open back headset, especially one of this caliber. Of course, the downside of open back headphones is that not only does sound bleed out, but also sound comes in. So if you're listening to something or if you're in a noisy environment, it would be difficult to use these while playing a game like Spider-Man or any other game really. And it might also affect your immersiveness in the game that you're playing. So you have to consider that if you're in a noisy environment. For me, I have a relatively quiet room. I'm all right with open back headphones. If you're in an environment like this, you can probably use open back headphones, but that's just something for you to consider. And as always, we are accompanying the audio test with the mic test.
Okay, so this is the mic test for the PC38X. Now, I have to say this is probably one of the clearest, loudest, one of the best mics I've used on the PS5. It's currently at probably 35%, 40% volume level. And overall, this is an impressive mic, but it does come with its own downfall. And that downfall is the fact that it picks up everything. Well, not everything, but it picks up the worst thing of all, and that is your breathing. So even when you're communicating with your friends, it can get particularly irritating even when they can tell what you're saying. During the times when you're not saying anything, it picks up all of your breathing for whatever reason. Increasing the noise gate for whatever reason has not helped me either. It causes your friends or your teammates to lose out on what you're saying, but for some reason it still picks up the breathing. I can demonstrate right now when I go silent. Now, to be fair, I don't always breathe that heavily. I'm breathing a little more heavily so you can figure it out. You can hear what I'm doing. But at the same time, I have reduced the position of the mic to bring it down a little bit. I've bent it out a little bit so that it doesn't pick up that sound, yet it still picks up the breathing. I've increased the noise gate in Warzone. I've tried increasing the noise gate when I use this on PC through other software, and it works. I have to speak louder in order to communicate, but the breathing somehow still gets through. Now, with that being said, if you can breathe quietly or if when you position it out of the way, it somehow ends up working for you, that's good, and you can use this mic. For me, for whatever reason, I just can't get it to a point where it's comfortable enough for me where I don't keep breathing on it. Other than the breathing issue, though, this mic is super clear. It is one of the best mics I've heard on a gaming headset.
Okay, moving on to the features, as I've mentioned earlier, there isn't much to talk about here, and that comes with the territory. It is a wired headset, and of course that's not an excuse because there are a lot of wired headsets that do have more features than this, but I believe Sennheiser and EPOS, aka Sennheiser, tend to make at least their wired headphones with very few built-in features. My assumption would be that because it's wired, it's analog, and you can't really build a lot of features in it. Again, that can't really be used as an excuse because there are wired gaming headphones with a lot of features. Now, I have read this somewhere before, and I'm going to completely butcher it. I'm going to paraphrase it, but I think what they said was they claimed that they didn't want to bog down the headset's audio quality with different features because once you try to implement those features in the headphones, it compromises on audio quality in one way or another. And other than that educated guess, it really is a mystery to me. Hopefully that is something that they wrote somewhere and I didn't just make that up right now. However, the only feature on this headset really is this volume control wheel right here. It doesn't directly control the volume on your PS5 or the volume on your computer. There's no software linked to it. It really just controls the output that goes into the headset. So it can reduce it, it can increase it, and as I mentioned earlier, even if you decrease it all the way to the end, there's still a little bit of volume leaking through. I don't know why. I don't know how they didn't figure that out. With other gaming headphones I've tried from Sennheiser and EPOS, the volume wheel, when I turn it all the way back, it actually turns the volume all the way down. The other feature really is this built-in mic, and as I've mentioned before, it moves up to mute, moves down to unmute. And that's about it. Now moving on to the pricing, the Drop X Sennheiser PC38X is priced at 245 Canadian dollars on Amazon, as well as 169 US dollars on Drop's website, which is pretty much the same thing. If you end up buying it from Drop's website and you're Canadian, you're going to end up paying shipping and customs, which is going to end up costing you more than 245 Canadian dollars if you just got it from Amazon's website, which is probably why it's on Amazon's website. Now, while this price is a little steep when you're thinking about wired headphones with little to no features, especially for playing on the PS5, I think it's extremely worth it for this headset for the PC. Now, it still sounds great on the PS5, but when you have so many other gaming headphones that you can buy, especially headphones designed specifically for the PS5, wired and wireless, and they cost less than this headset, it's hard to make that decision, especially with the mic issues. Of course, the mic sounds great, but again, that breathing, the fact that it picks up all that breathing can be so irritating. Because it's an open back headset, you also hear yourself talking without any side tones, which is fine, but because I had to speak louder, it would sort of drown out the sound of the game, and that's not something I want to compromise on. When using this headset on the PC, you have similar issues with the mic. I tried adjusting the noise gate in different ways using Sennheiser's own software that you use with the GSX300. I even used the GSX1000 DAC to no avail. And I know there's going to be a bunch of you that are going, oh, Pix is just a heavy breather, he's just dropping moisture loads on the mic. This isn't going to happen to me. Trust me, it will. How do I know? Because I was in your position when I saw other people talking about this mic. The beauty of using the PC38X on the PC is that I can use an external mic to communicate with my friends. You don't have that option on the PS5, so this is something you have to consider when you're going to buy this. If you're going to buy this for your PS5, if you're only going to use it on your PS5, that is something you have to think about. Now moving on to the design, it's not a very flamboyant or boastful design. As I've mentioned earlier, this is a very understated design. It's not something that stands out, although Drop decided to do their own little thing here by adding the yellow touch, which got mixed reviews from a lot of people. Some people liked the fact that there was a pop of color on this thing, and some people just didn't understand why it was there. I'm sort of mixed on it as well. I do appreciate a little bit of color, but usually I appreciate it when there's a purpose to it or it makes sense. Here it sort of feels arbitrary, like they just threw it on there for the sake of making it look a little bit more different than a typical Sennheiser headset. And if you know Sennheiser, most of their audiophile headphones are very understated. They don't pop out, they don't stand out that much. They let their audio quality do the talking. So I'm sure this upset a lot of Sennheiser fans, but this is why I believe they did the Drop X EPOS PC38X, because the internals are supposedly the same, the sound quality is probably supposedly the same. I haven't tried it out yet, so I don't know for sure, but they removed this pop of color for a more muted look. Did they update the mic? I'm not sure. I hope they did, because if they did, then that would be the perfect gaming headset. Of course, this thing is not going to match your PS5 in any way unless you got the dark plates or black plates for PS5 and you somehow have some sort of hint of yellow dashed on your PS5 in one way or another. Maybe in the middle you put like a yellow decal, or in the PS logo, or you put yellow lights. But that would be a very peculiar design choice. I don't know how you would have came to that conclusion unless you were like a Pittsburgh Steelers fan or something. Okay, moving on to the good and the bad. Starting off with the good. Of course, the good thing about this headset is the excellent sound quality on PS5. You can distinguish between little sound effects, you can hear the crispness of everything. It has great 3D audio performance, it has a great soundstage on PS5. The next thing is just how lightweight and how perfect the fit is. The fit of this thing is bar none. I could wear this all day, I would not feel it. Because it's open back, you're never going to get that moisture buildup. Finally, the mic performance is very good. It is a loud and clear mic. Moving on to the bad is the mic performance. Although it's loud and good, it also has its downsides, like picking up pretty much every breath you take. I'll be missing you. Okay, maybe not, but you know what I mean. It will pick up every breath you take. It's got to the point where I had to use another mic on PC in order to communicate with my friends so they don't hear me breathing. The next thing is that it is an open back headset, which of course is a good thing because it gives you a wider sound stage and it prevents ear fatigue and moisture buildup. There are a lot of benefits to it, but there's also a downside, which is that the noise bleeds out. So if you have people around you that you don't want to bother, this is going to bother them and you won't have the experience that you want to have. And open back doesn't just mean that noise leaks outwards, but also that noise comes in. So if you're in a noisy environment, it's going to affect your audio experience. The next thing is the price. The price can be a little hefty. Now, although it is reasonable and understandable for this headset if you're a PC gamer, when it comes to being a PS5 gamer, there are a lot of other wired and wireless headsets that are designed specifically for the PS5 that have more features and come at a much lower cost. So although the price for this headset is justified just because Sennheiser and their premium audio experience, you have a lot of other options that will cost you way less and will give you more features. So it's something you have to consider what you value more. Do you want more features, or are you okay with not having those features for one of the best audio experiences on the PS5? And finally, the design can be a little off-putting to some. It's very understated. It's not very gamery. If you're a gamer that only plays on PS5 and you value the aesthetics, a lot of people who bought the PS5 also bought it because, you know, they appreciate the aesthetics. They want everything else, the accessories, to match it or to be just as crazy as the PS5 is, and this headset is not going to be that. It's going to be very understated. It could be a little off-putting because it has yellow in it, which the PS5 does not have. No console has yellow in it, not even the Switch. So if design is a very important factor in your headset purchasing decision, this is something you're probably not going to look at. However, this headset does perform really well. I do recommend it for the PS5 if it's something you want. If you're okay with a wired headset with little to no features, but you want a great sound quality experience, I really do recommend this headset. That's my review of the Drop X Sennheiser PC38X. Let me know down below if you're going to go ahead and cop it. Again, link is in the description if you want to go ahead and check them out. I'll catch you in the next one. Pixelated is a bumblebee.